During CES, I don't know why, but I was suddenly struck with the idea of, hey, after 17 years doing this, why don't I just shoot my shot, you know? See if the OG Linus, creator of Linux, is like down to do something, because I don't know, he like appears on camera once in a while and stuff. He obviously computes, right? Like, yeah, why not? Right? We've certainly been aligned at points in the past with respect to how we feel about certain hardware vendors and how they treat our respective industries. So there's got to be some synergies there. So I'm only going to read my emails verbatim, because I don't want to, leak the DMs or whatever. What I consider an email that someone sends to me private information, generally speaking. So here's what I said. By the way, it's pretty funny watching the AI summary of our thread, because it's like, Linus proposed a collaboration, then Linus said this, and Linus said that. Anyway, this might be a bit of a long shot, but we've received hundreds, probably thousands, of requests over the years to do something with Linus. And I sent this to basically every email address that I could find. Here are some rough jumping off points. Building the perfect Linux machine for Linus Torvalds. An April Fool's video where we have him straight-faced host one of our videos and just never acknowledge that it's the wrong Linus. Having him react to various Linux missteps that, I've committed over the years, and maybe provide some commentary or advice. I said, truthfully, I don't have a concept solidified in my mind, but I wanted to put out feelers to see if there's any appetite for any kind of collaboration. Regards, the other tech Linus. I heard back literally, hold on, I'm trying to find the timestamps here. It was within like minutes though. Like I was floored. I heard back.
That's crazy.
And I'm not going to go word for word, but basically it was something to do with Highlander from 1986. There can be only one, right? And then there was.
I thought you meant our Guinness World Record for a second.
Nope, not even a little. And then there was some mention of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and the admittedly correct assessment that both had epic music, and I was left kind of going, okay, so is this a yes? Is it a no? How about this? Tell you what, I'm going to assign myself some homework. I'm going to watch those films, and so to make sure that I get all the references. So since CES, I have watched all of the original Mel Gibson Mad Max movies. I have watched Highlander, and a little while ago, I reached out again, and I went, okay, I totally get all the references now. And hey, are you interested in doing something? And earlier this week, I actually got on a call with the man himself, and I don't want to promise anything because for 1,000 reasons, right, it might not work out. And that might not be anyone's fault, and there would be no hard feelings whatsoever. Something isn't really done until it's done, and there's nothing wrong with that. But right now, it looks like we are going to build an ultimate Linux machine for the Linus Torvalds. And he will help build it. We will have him here in the studio.
I almost wonder, if you should put, rainbow cards in it. If you should have an NVIDIA, an Intel, and an AMD GPU. So that he can, for work reasons. My goal would be to make it as stable, because I know that that's something that he values a lot. We'll almost certainly be using ECC memory, for instance, because that's something he's really quite passionate about from what I've seen in the past. Cool.
So I want that. No, I want this to be quite a serious. I want to have some fun. Obviously, that's what we do, right? We're going to have some fun. but I want the machine to be serious. And what I want from you guys, and Dan, I'm actually not sure necessarily what the best way for us to tackle this is. Maybe what we could do is we could do a float plane post sometime over the next week or two. I want to get some feedback from the community because
interesting.
This is a super rare opportunity. And obviously, the whole point of the video doesn't have to be, here's how to put a memory stick in a Linux computer, right? Like, I don't think that's what people are going to be watching this for. No, I want to have a conversation, Linus, chatting about our very, very different experiences and our very different sort of approach to the tech world. There are some parallels. We've both ruffled some feathers
build and talk at the same
over the years. Yeah. So I want to know, what would you guys? Because to me, building a computer opposite someone it's almost not the point, right? It's more like a Hot Ones. It's an excuse to be in the same room at the same time, right?
Sparky ones.
Dude, though, I am amazed at how easy it was to get him on the show. He was just like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do it. I thought I'd have to grovel. I offered to bring the whole production to him, and he was like, no, I think I could do that. I could just come up there, and I was like, okay, that's incredibly generous of your time.
I know this is a little premature.
Yeah.
But I hope it goes so well that he wants to do something again. I think this is really cool.
I think it's so cool.
I think it would be awesome.
And it's one of those things where just I just never asked because I assumed.
Yeah.
I just assumed, I don't know. The answer would be no. And I think, I don't know. And maybe it's an insecurity on my part. Maybe it's just, maybe I've allowed my perception of myself to be colored the same way that I think some people do, as sort of the tech clown. He drops stuff. He does this. He does that.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know why. I thought he'd say no or ignore it. I didn't think he'd necessarily even get my email. But
that part's kind of surprising to me. I think for me, it's not my perception of you. It's just that he's been. I don't know how to say this and not sound like I'm groveling, but he's kind of been somewhat of a godlike figure forever in our realm. So it's just kind of crazy.
So you're gonna have to sort of dial that back when he's here.
No, I know.
Because what I will say is he doesn't seem to get it. What a
sure.
rock star.
And that's not something you ever really say to somebody's face.
What an absolute freaking rock star he is in our community. Because I was like, dude, you're gonna have to. I tried to prepare him a little bit. I was like, dude, you're gonna have to understand that there's gonna be people in our office that are like,
I'll chill. I'll chill. I'll be fine.
It's so great to meet you, sir. It's good.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, dude, understand, you are beloved in our space. And he's like, I don't know. I mean, not everybody likes me. I've ruffled a lot of feathers. I've been very outspoken. I'm like, sir, you got to understand the way that you are outspoken and the cause that you represent. It's very aligned with our community.
Yeah, you've got some fans here.
Yeah, definitely. So I think he might end up a little taken aback by just how much our community in particular is going to be like, no way.
Well, and I mean, I think there's also been a very large push. I know I've been talking about it individually a little bit, but I think honestly that's largely because of the communication in our community for a while. But there's been a really large push of people trying to kind of flee over to Windows lately. I think largely enabled by SteamOS.
Sorry, flee over benefits. To Windows? You mean flee from Windows?
Flee away from Windows is what I meant to say.
Yeah, okay. I was like, what are you talking about, bud?
No, yeah, fleeing from Windows, fleeing away from Windows. And that's man, the fact that it's even a possibility is kind of wild to go to an open source option. Is crazy considering there's effectively two, right? And they're both just like enormous commercial giants. So the fact that there's a genuinely really good alternative that is like free and open is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, tons of credit to Valve for the support that they've given.
100%.
And tons of credit, of course, to the foot soldiers, the ones that are out there doing the work to make this happen, because it has been arduous. And I mean, you wouldn't have to go back that far for me to say, yeah, this is never going to happen. Like, even Valve looked like they gave up after the original Steam machines flopperoo.
And clearly they didn't, which is great. But yeah, it seemed like they did for a bit.
Really did. Legacy Uprising says, there are only 3 OGs, and 2 I couldn't care less to see on the show. There's Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and the only open source one, Linus. It's like, yep. Yeah. I think that's a sentiment that's going to resonate with a big part of our community, which isn't to say at all that the contributions to modern computing, for better or for worse, from the other two were not monumental. Absolutely they were. No one is questioning that. No one's denying that. But in terms of, like, you know, if I was to pick a big 3 sort of figureheads, because again, a big part of their roles was to be figureheads, or is to be figureheads. It's not like any of them was, you know, sitting developing everything over the entire span of their, in some cases, decades long careers, right? Like there are many contributors to every major platform. But in terms of, like, if I was going to pick a big 3 figureheads, yeah, those would be them for me too. Yes, we're not forgetting the Woz. Don't worry, chat. Don't worry, we're not forgetting Steve Wozniak.
Now, Woz is somebody that I think would be fantastic to have on the show.
I mean, look, let's start somewhere. Let's start somewhere. And then if this goes really well, dude, I mean, how fun would that be?
That'd be sweet. Yeah.
That'd be super cool. But let's start somewhere, because it never hurts. It never hurts when we do outreach, you know, to other people, to be like, okay, and here's the time that we had, you know, Linus Torvalds on. And it went great, or I don't know, maybe it didn't go so great. No, I'm sure it'll go great.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm too excited to not share that with you guys this week. This is the kind of thing where if I wasn't so amped about it to the point where I'd probably end up leaking it anyway, then I would have saved and I would have just had it be a surprise when the video dropped. But I just really wanted to talk about it, and I'm psyched.